why African countries are unable or unwilling to fund their own union.
C'est ça, la faiblesse du panafricanisme.
That is the weakness of Pan-Africanism, the lack of solidarity.
Revolutionary greetings, all of you, dear lovely family, friends, fellow Africans. Please share this video to all Africans, African leaders, asking them, do we need African Union? Or we have to abolish it? Please watch this video from the beginning till the end. Welcome.
Question.
A contradiction. We have an Africa continental free trade area. We want free movement of persons and goods, and we don't ratify the protocol that allows that to become a reality. That is a paradox, and it's inadmissible.
Final question, I'm going to give it to you.
Yes, here we are. Welcome back, dear lovely family, friend, fellow Africans. That is the Africa Union that we have right now. How African Union can tell European countries that stop exploiting Africa, while African Union is receiving or being funded by those people, by those countries. How can African Union stand up and tell France, stop destabilizing Africa, stop exploiting Africa, while France is funding African Union? Where African Union can get such kind of power? How can Africa Union complain about exploitation of this continent? How can African Union complain about imperialists, about colonialism, while it's being funded by those people? How can African Union protect African countries? African Union failed to protect Gaddafi. You may ask yourself why. It's because African Union itself is being funded by those who invited Gaddafi. How can African Union stand up and say to Mr. Donald Trump, there's no white genocide in South Africa? Can African Union stand up and say like that while they're receiving money from them? How can African Union stand up and say, hands off to Burkina Faso, hands off to Sahel? Tell France, stop what you are doing. Can African Union say like that? While it's being funded by European Union, by America and other people? Do we have such kind of power? And for how long shall we Africans continue to be funded by others? What's the meaning of having these natural resources? What are they doing, these natural resources? If they can't fund our continental bodies, why we have gold? What's the meaning of having gold? What's the meaning of having diamond? What's the meaning of having oil, while we cannot fund our continental bodies? Right now, you heard Africans talking about 5 permanent seats in in the United Nations, UN Security Council, permanent seats, 5, asking for 5 permanent seats. There's those who said 1 seat must go to African Union. So if 1 seat is going to African Union, is African Union representing us? If it's being funded by other people, 75%, will represent us when it comes to the issue of security? And we know who feed you controls you. So what if those who who feed us will control African Union with that maybe permanent seat in the UN Security Council that don't help Burkina Faso, don't help Sudan, don't help Congo? Will African Union help Congo? Because they don't have money. They don't have tools. They don't have equipment. We are depending on the others. So what can we do as Africans? So at this era, at this century, at this time, do we need to continue being funded by others? My dear lovely family, what are we kind of human being we are? What are we kind of human being that with all these resources, we have oil, we have uranium, we have lithium, we have everything, and yet we cannot fund our continental body. Maybe if it is a single country to fund it, maybe it will be difficult. But all 55 African states cannot fund the African Union. Who are we? Are we a real human being? What are we doing in this world, my dear lovely family? Sometimes it is paining. It is paining. Do we need to continue with this continental body, or we have to abolish it? Do we need African Union? If we cannot fund it, why we need it? Let us leave it. Is it African continental body, or it is European body in African continent? It is paining, my dear lovely family. All these richest countries, you call South Africa, you say Nigeria is the richest country, go to Egypt, go to Ghana, many producer of gold and the cocoa, go to Angola, many producer of oil, go to Zambia, copper producer, go to Tanzania, gold, diamond, Tanzanite, and all stuffs, go to Namibia, with all those uranium and oil, go to Niger with all uranium, go to Libya, oil there, go to Uganda, has crude oil and uranium and all stuff like that. Oh, everywhere. Go to Rwanda with natural resources there, cobalt, lithium. Go to Congo, the heart of Africa, with all kind of minerals that are there. But we are not funding. We cannot fund our continental body. We are waiting Europeans to give us money. We are waiting Chinese to build our headquarters of African Union. What are we doing as Africans? What are we doing? Let us, everyone where you are, ask yourself, ask your leader, what are we doing and where are we going? Let now we are being fed by other people. We cannot even produce food to feed ourselves. We are fed by Bill Gates with this food called GMO seeds. What are we doing in this world? What is our position as Africans in this world? And why it is happening? So, friends, fellow Africans, share this video. Share this video to all Africans here in the continent and to those who are in the diaspora, to our leaders, presidents. Ask them why we need to continue with the African Union if we cannot fund it, if we cannot support it. Why we need it? Why we need it? Right now, as you heard, my dear lovely family, from Mr. Faki Muhammad, the former AU Commission Chair, that African Union is funded by Europeans. You may ask yourself, is African Union owned by Africans, or this African Union is just a body, European body in Africa? So please share this video to all Africans here in the continent and to those who are in the diaspora, especially to all African leaders, presidents, and ask them, do we need African Union, or we have to abolish it to create a new continental body that will unite Africans? Because African Union has failed. Maybe our founding fathers had a great vision on this organization, but the current leadership has failed this organization. So do we need to continue with this African Union? Please help me. Maybe I don't understand what Faki Muhammad has said. So, one thing that is shocking me, that what our leaders are discussing when they meet in Addis, in African Union HQ, headquarters in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. What are they discussing? If 60-75% of fund are coming from Europe, who owns this organization? You, Africa, all of 54 African states contribute 25%. European countries, 17 countries, contribute 75%. And yet you come and say, this is a continental body. African Union is a continental body. Is it true? Is African Union representing Africa or representing Africans? Or it is a body for Europeans and America? So, and another thing that has shocked me from what Mr. Musa Faki has said is the issue of free movement of people. Just imagine, even himself, it was prohibited to enter some certain African countries. Even if he hold African Union passport, even if he hold diplomatic passport, but he was prohibited to enter some African countries. And yet the same leaders, African leaders, political leaders, are telling us, trying to preach us that we have Africa Continental Free Trade Area. My dear lovely family, do we have Africa Continental Free Trade Area? If this AU Commission Chair is prohibited to enter some certain African countries, what about normal citizen? What about me? What about you who are going maybe to sell your product in some African countries? They will allow you to enter? If this man who was AU chair was prohibited, what about me and you? What the role of what leaders have agreed in some different occasions, some different summits? So I think we have still a long journey to move, because the current leadership that we have, they are taking us nowhere, especially these political leaders. You know, last year, Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger threatened to withdraw themselves from African Union. There's those who asked, why you want to withdraw? Now I recognize this African Union has nothing to do with African countries. Because just imagine, you contribute 25%. All those 54 African countries contribute 25% of the African Union budget. And European countries and America contribute 75%. So where are we going, my dear lovely family? So if my suggestion, if we have failed to fix this African Union, we have to create another continental bodies. Let us maybe join Sahel. You see, there are some commitment. You can leave African Union and join Sahel if it is possible. Because you see commitment from Sahelian leaders. If you see what Captain Ibrahim Traore is talking, is working the talk. If you see what Ablaman Chan is doing his talk. What President of Mali, Assimi Goïta, is doing the same. Even these current generation leaders are doing well. But this African Union is failing the continent. Is a useless body, I think. And this is a board that is joined G20. So just imagine we are in G20 and we contribute, all of us, all 1.4 billion people population, we contribute 25% of the budget of the African Union. And yet we are saying we are joining G20 for what? What decision are we going to make while we are being funded by others? The headquarters of African Union was built by the Chinese. What do we have? If the Chinese can say, I want to take my property, what can we do? What can we do, my dear lovely family? Do you think African Union can defend any leaders? We saw during Gaddafi. And that is a real example. And you can understand that we have no power. So we don't need, I think, this continental body. It is good. The aim of this continental body was good. But the current leaders are not willing to contribute, are not happy maybe with African Union. They don't want it maybe. That's why they are not ready to contribute. We saw Africans being suffered, but African Union keeping silent. Those who have been asking me about why African Union is silent on the issue of Burkina Faso, on the issue of General Langley, U.S. General who accused Captain Ibrahim Traore, I think now you have got an answer. There's those also who asked me about why African Union is silent on the issue of South Africa white genocide. Why, as a continental body, didn't release a statement and telling Mr. Trump that there's no white genocide in this continent? We are the head of continental body. We have done our own research. There's no white genocide. If they have to say maybe there is white genocide, why they kept silent? Yes, of course, even silent is the answer. But you can now connect the dots that we have nothing because we are not contributing. So we have African Union joining the G20 summit and G20 community, but what are they presenting? So for the interest of Europeans. So if they agreed, maybe they want globalization, African Union has to agree. But remember that the African Union is representing 25% of fund of people of Africa, because there are those who are funding. And the majority from Europe. So the majority decision is for Europeans. That's the meaning. That's the meaning. So how can we move from this situation? What can we do as Africans to make sure that we fix, first of all, we need to fix it. We fix African Union and we start funding it properly. Or we are going to have another continental body. I'm waiting to hear from you maybe. Have no answer in this issue. It is paining, and now I realize that if NATO can come again to African continent and say, I want to take someone out of power, African Union will do nothing. African leaders will keep silent. So this is a message to all of us young people, to know that we have no continental body that will defend us. Why? Because they have no power. They're being funded. And the leading example is when Gaddafi was removed from power. And our watch, African Union was there. What African Union did at that time? Nothing. Why? Because even Gaddafi tried to fund African Union. And these many hard leaders, they received money from Gaddafi. Gaddafi funded a lot of money to African Union. So that is the African Union that we have. My dear lovely family, friend, it is paining. It is paining to see that we have continental body that is not owned by Africans. We own nothing. Those who feed you controls you. That's the reason that African Union was silent during Gaddafi. African Union is silent to what happened in South Africa. African Union is silent to what happened to Burkina Faso. So, but what they are doing is to suspend some member countries such as Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, and Gabon, I think so, and Guinea. So you suspend your members because of those who pay us has told us that you have to suspend those members. So we need to build a new African Union. The current that we have, my dear lovely family, is not functioning. It's dysfunction organization body. So let us not speak for too long, my dear lovely family. I shared this video purposely for you to understand the reality. And we as Africans, the current generation, we have a great duty. If this body has failed, if we have failed to fix it, let us create a new continental body. Because we are talking about continental free trade areas. We are talking about united Africa. We are talking about free movement of people and goods. We are talking about borderless continent. How can we achieve all those things with this current of African Union that we have? The African Union that even the AU chair is prohibited. He has no power to enter some certain countries. So what this African Union is doing, and for what purpose? I think we have no need to have this. Right now, people are suffering in Sudan. What African Union is doing? If the summit of peace and issues of Sudan are being conducted in London, are Europeans and others who are discussing about the peace in Sudan, what is our role as Africans? So we have nothing to do. So we don't need, I think, this continental body. It has a good intention. It has good plans, but I see that the situation that we have, it looks like African Union is going to die. It is in ICU. African Union is ICU. So we need to rescue it. If we allow it to die, let us create another continental body. But I think, I said this many times, we Africans, we need to create a united Africa. Yes, the current leadership, or the current generation of leadership, maybe they are not happy with a united Africa because they are going to lose power. But we, the current young people, maybe 10 to 5 years, we will be leaders. Let us think about uniting this continent. Because if we don't unite, you are not safe. You are not in a safe environment. Because these people will come the same, they came to Gaddafi, they came to others, they will come to you, and there will be nobody to say anything. I remember the words of Martin Niemöller when he was lamented on the issue of Holocaust. He said one thing, that when they came for the Jews, he said nothing, because he was not a Jew. When they came for the communists, he said nothing. He kept silent because he was not a communist. When they went to journalists, he kept silent. But when they came for him, there's nobody to say anything. So our leaders must understand, our unity is not just maybe to make us rich, it's to make us strong, to support one another, to speak with one voice. So how can we speak with one voice? How can you complain about European Union while you are being funded by them? How can you complain about them? So, my dear lovely family, that is the situation. That's the leading situation. Please, please, please help me to share this video to our leaders, to all Africans. We need changes. We need a working continental body. Africa is ours. Africa is our home. We have to clean our home. We have to build the better home. When we become frustrated outside there, we learn back to our home to get to live. That's the meaning. So we need a good African Union. After that, my dear lovely family, let me say thank you. Have a nice time. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Africa. Mama Africa. Oh, yeah. You make African great. Thank you, freedom. Thank you, Africa.